ho, ho.
Well, she is. And when we come back to Spark and Spoon in the parlor, I'd appreciate it if you and Arnie were missing.
You couldn't get her in the parlor with a team of mules.
Is that so? Well, it just so happens it was her idea.
To sit in the parlor with you?
That's right. She says that I have got something that none of her other fellas has got.
He's got color television. And I don't want to miss that game tonight. The Rams are playing the Packers.
But how can you stand Jethro for a whole evening?
I don't even know Jethro's in the same room. Billy Munson's starting at quarterback. Oh, is he dreamy?
Ah, you can keep those fancy damn quarterbacks. Give me those linemen. Pow, boom, boom, boom. Hey, how about me coming along?
I don't know. Jethro thinks this is a regular date. It might be... Wait a minute. Mr. Drysdale's going to be out tonight. Can't you watch it here?
Oh, I could if old tight fingers would break down and buy a new set.
What's the matter? Doesn't the old one work?
Yeah, it works all right, but let's face it. Football just isn't football on a 3-inch screen. Especially those round ones.
There's my date.
Listen now, maybe I could drop over a little later, huh?
Well, okay. The television's in what they call the parlor.
Who's this fella coming to court Ellie?
Well, Ellie ain't using the parlor tonight, Granny. It's Jethro.
Jethro.
Yeah, he's bringing his sweetie over.
Well, why don't they sit in her parlor?
Well, probably because she ain't got one. She's Miss Drysdale's new maid.
I'll take these back to the kitchen. When there's riddles around, Jethro will forget all about the girl.
Not this girl, Granny. I heard tell she's mighty pretty, and Jethro is head over heels falling down glassy-eyed in love with her.
Heaven help us. When that boy's around a pretty girl, he plumb loses what little sense he's got.
Does seem to rattle him a mite.
Well, here we are.
Let's not waste time out here, Jethro. Lead me to that parlor.
Hot dog! Excuse us. We'd like to be alone. Forgot my girl.
See what I mean?
He just ain't to be believed. Easy now, easy.
Don't drag her.
It's all right. I'm in a bigger hurry than he is. Let's sit here, shall we?
Okay.
Oh, would you dim the lights first?
Yes, ma'am.
Then hurry, Jethro.
I will.
It's almost time for the game.
What game is that? Post office or spin the bottle?
Rams and Packers.
Well, I don't know much about that one, but if it's got kissing in it, I'll learn it.
It's football, Jethro.
You want to play football?
Oh, no, I just want to watch.
Well, gee whiz, I'd rather we played something together.
The football game is on television. Now, we can sit here and watch it.
Watch television?
Yes.
Kid, that girl has been alone in the parlor with Jethro for pretty near an hour. Maybe I better go see if she needs some help.
Now, Granny, Jethro's a proper boy.
It ain't that. It's to help her stay awake. Being alone with Jethro is about as exciting as watching ice melt.
Well, now, maybe his getting smarter has caught up with his getting bigger.
Excuse me, could I please have a glass of water?
You bet. We got a pitcher right here in the icebox.
What's the matter, honey? Did you fall asleep?
Fall asleep? This is the most thrilling and exciting evening I've ever had.
It is?
Yes, and it's only half over.
Ain't time for the second half?
You sure are, Mary. Say, you don't mind if she joins us, do you?
Well, no, it's all right with Jethro.
Oh, he's being such a sweetheart. Come on, Murray.
I invited a couple of friends. Come on, girls.
There's gonna be 4 of you?
Oh, it's all right. There are 2 sofas. Come on.
Hey, Linda, would you look over here, please? I'm fixing to do myself in.
No, Jethro, don't do it.
I'm sorry, Ellie. It's too late to stop.
But you'll get all these toes and stuff rusty.
You women are all alike. You don't care nothing about a fella having a busted heart. Hand me that paper over yonder. I'm gonna cut you out of my will.
What'd you lay me?
My four-bladed pocket knife.
Hey,
wait a minute. Come back here. Doggone women, anyhow. Hey, Linda, are you going to watch me or ain't you?
I've been hollering, boy. Granny wants you to come in and eat now. What in the blue blazes?
Done at my last meal, Uncle Jed. I'm just getting ready to push all this stuff into the cement pond.
What for?
I aim to break Linda's heart like she broke mine.
This stuff belong to her?
No, sir, it belongs to you and Granny.
Well, then I don't believe I'd be shoving it in the pond.
You don't understand. I'm going to that big courting parlor in the sky.
You get this stuff rusty, and you're going to that little woodshed out back. Besides, with these ropes tied on, you're going to get pulled in yourself.
That's the whole idea. I got nothing to live for.
You had 4 women fighting to get in the parlor with you last night, and you got nothing to live for?
All they wanted to do was watch the football game on television.
Linda, too?
She was the worst of all. She acted like I wasn't even there. She'll change her tune when I drown myself. Yes. Boy, I can hardly wait. She'll come tearing through that hedge, wailing and bellowing, throw herself on my lifeless body, smother me with kisses, beg me to love her. Boy, am I going to enjoy that. Here I go, Linda!
Jethro.
Yeah, Uncle Jed, what?
How you going to enjoy anything when you're drowned?
Pretty near made a mistake, didn't I? Doggone it, Uncle Jed, what am I going to do? I'm crazy mad in love with Linda, and all she cares about is football players.
Well, then be one. I'll tell you what, Jethro. You get the uniforms, and I'll call Mr. Drysdale. Between him and Miss Jane, they know just about everything.
You reckon that'll get Linda to like me?
Well, I'd say it's got a better chance than sitting on the bottom of the pond hitched up to a half a ton of scrap iron.
What do you suppose brought about the Clampett's sudden interest in football?
Who cares? It's a wonderful game, and something they can't get back in the hills. Now, we've got to turn them into real fans.
These are excellent books on the subject.
Forget it. You've got to have someone who's played the game to explain football.
I didn't realize. Where did you play?
Michigan, Minnesota.
Really?
Yep. There was a vacant lot in the corner of Michigan and Minnesota.
Well, howdy there. Come in, come in.
Nice to see you.
Mighty nice of you to come over.
Oh, our pleasure. You know, I'm delighted to hear that you're interested in football.
Yes, it's a wonderful sport.
Well, Jethro's the one that's all stoked up over it, but the rest of us would be obliged if you'd learn us too.
Oh, no trick at all.
Granny's out in the kitchen.
Now, let's get out there with the old pigskin.
Mr. Drysdale, I wouldn't call her that to her face.
Howdy there. Yeah?
Greetings, Granny, Ellie Mae.
Mr. Drysdale's going to learn us how to play football.
You play, Mr. Drysdale?
Well, not anymore, but at one time I was known as the Iron Man of Michigan.
And Minnesota.
Now, suppose Miss Hathaway is the quarterback. Now, I am the running halfback. Now, slap the old pigskin right in the breadbasket.
That was Danny. What do you do now? Pick up the ball?
Your sacroiliac again?
Yes. Get me home quick before Granny tries to doctor me.
Heard you back, Mr. Drysdale?
Now, I walk this way to keep the rain out of my face.
Mr. Drysdale.
What?
Do you like ice hockey?
I love it, but I don't feel like playing right now.
But, sir.
What?
There's a marvelous hockey game on television tonight. Colored television.
So?
So I thought maybe you'd like to have a color set. They're dirt cheap right now.
They make them in a 3-inch screen?
No, but you can get a 21-inch for $400.
400! Oh! That fixed my back. Saved me a doctor bill.
How about that color set?
Do you really want one?
Yes.
Okay. You go right ahead and order one.
Oh, Mr. Drysdale, I don't know how I'll ever repay you.
$10 a week.
27, 63, 49, 27, 23, 38,
Jethro.
39,
Boy.
42.
Jethro!
Yeah, Jeff, what?
You have to do all that ciphering?
I ain't ciphering. I'm calling signals. When I'm done, you hand me the ball.
Here, you're done.
You don't hand it to me like that. You pass it to me twixt your legs, like I showed you.
Oh, I believe I'll skip that. This get-up is kind of binding on me as it is. Every time I lean over, my hat falls off.
Not your hat, Uncle Jed, it's your helmet. Now, come on, let's try it again.
Well, here comes the rest of the team. Let's wait for them.
Linda's probably watching.
If I let go of these pants, the whole neighborhood will be watching.
Speaking of Linda, yonder she comes through the hedge.
Hot dog. Now I can show her some fancy running and catching. Uncle Jed, you send her the ball to Granny. Granny, you give it to Ellie. Ellie, you throw it to me when I get down there near Linda.
37, 52. Here, Granny.
23, skidoo. Take it, Ellie.
Hey, Linda, watch you catch the ball. Fling it, Ellie!
Watch out, boy. You're headed for the wall.
Jethro, are you all right?
Huh? Well, yeah, I think so.
Jethro, can I come over and see you tonight?
Oh, you ain't gonna watch football on television, are you?
No. No, word of honor.
Okay, then you can come.
Oh, thank you.
By golly, the boy was right. These football uniforms sure get the women.
Wait, Jed. Why don't you take a little walk around the neighborhood in yourn? Well, I'll be making fudge and popcorn anyway. Jed, do you know that Jethro went to pick up that girl wearing his full football get-up?
Yeah, I spoke to him about that, but it seems that the girl is uncommon fond of it, so he ain't taking no chances.
What's he gonna do, wear it till he gets married?
Of course not. After tonight, the girl gets to know Jethro, learns all his qualities, find out what he's really like, he might have to keep it on a spell at that.
Well, here we are again.
Yes.
Like me in my uniform, huh?
Oh, yes, Jethro. You're really something.
Thank you. Before we go in the house, want to take a stroll out there on the front lawn?
What have you got in mind?
Well, the moon is nice and bright. You can throw me some passes.
Oh, well, that's real tempting, Jethro, but let's go right into the parlor.
Well, I can't show you much fancy football catching in there.
Jethro, like I told you before, I'm not interested in football tonight.
Awful sorry. But this won't need this anyhow.
No, not tonight.
Forgot your girl again, Jethro? No, sir, Uncle Jed. I'm going to show Linda my fancy footwork. Hey, Linda, what's this? 26, 18, 32, ha!
Jed, I don't care what Miss Drysdale says. He's got to start courting that girl over to her house.
He is acting like he's a few pickles shy of a barrel.
You reckon that football hat could be pressing on his brain?
I don't hardly see how.
Even that city girl's gonna drop him if he don't get them squirrels out of his attic.
Couldn't stop and went through the window. But I didn't hurt myself, though.
Isn't he marvelous? Come on, Jethro, let's get into that parlor.
Want to come in the kitchen and have some coffee?
No, Granny, I'd best fix that front window.
You can't see to put that glass in there tonight.
I don't aim to. Till Jethro falls out of love, I'm just going to cover it with wax paper.
Jethro!
Okay, Allie?
But you ain't fixing to drown yourself again.
Yes, I am. I'd appreciate it if you go over next door and make sure Linda's watching.
Okay.
Hey, wait a minute. I didn't leave that stuff to you.
Then I ain't telling Linda to walk.
Again with this nonsense?
It ain't nonsense, Uncle Jed. I aim to end it all. Hey, Linda, will you look over here?
I thought the girl loved you.
Well, that's what I thought, till last night. Turns out she loves hockey players.
What in tarnation is a hockey player?
It's a fellow that goes slipping and sliding on the ice, trying to hit a little old round piece of rubber into a net with a curved stick.
And Linda likes that?
Just crazy about it.
Boy, have you given any serious thought to finding yourself a new girl?
No, sir, Uncle Jed. Linda's the only girl I could ever love.
Jethro.
And if I can't have her, ain't nobody gonna get her.
Jethro.
Yes, sir, Uncle Jed, what?
How is drowning yourself gonna keep somebody else from getting her?
Here, made another mistake, didn't I?
I'm real close.
Doggone it, what am I gonna do?
You sure you don't want to try for another girl?
No, sir. I don't love often, but I love deep.
Well, if you're bound and determined it's got to be Linda, and she's partial to hockey players, I reckon you just about got to start hockeying.
What do you suppose switched the Clampetts from football to ice hockey?
Perhaps it was your demonstration of football.
You know, this puck would just about fit in your mouth.
Oh, howdy, folks. Come in, come in. I hate to keep bothering you this way.
Not at all.
Hockey's a fine sport. You'll like it.
Well, it's for Jethro again. He's got himself a uniform. Now he needs to learn the game.
Forget it, Uncle Jed.
What do you mean, forget it? You want the girl to love you, don't you?
Not if I have to wear this. But she could hug and kiss me like crazy, and I'd never even know it. Getting spark in these kind of clothes.
But what girl is Jethro referring to?
Oh, a pretty little thing named Linda, Miss Drysdale's new maid.
What's that about my new maid?
Jethro is enamored of her.
Oh, no, ma'am. He likes her a heap. It's her that don't care shucks about him.
Really? Well, I have a feeling that's going to change.
And then he said if I'd be nice to Jethro, he'd get a 25-inch color set and throw that antique with a 3-inch screen away.
Thank goodness. These things are killing me.
I haven't agreed to do it yet.
You haven't?
Nope. Told him I wanted to think it over.
Here, put these on while you're thinking. I'll do it, I'll do it.
Here, Uncle Jed.
What's that?
This here's a combination suicide note, last will and testament, and shopping list. Granny wanted me to go to the market, but I got to do myself in while it's still light enough for Linda to see me.
Come back here.
It's no use, Uncle Jed. There's just no pleasing that girl. One night it's a football player, the next night it's a hockey player. Tonight, who knows?
Now, wait a minute. There must have been something she liked about both of them. Think for a minute. Wasn't there anything they done alike?
Yeah. They both done what you call commercials.
Long shot with a limb in the way, but it beats breathing pond water.
You sit down right here. I'm gonna dim the lights.
Are we going to watch television?
No, ma'am.
Well, what have you got in mind?
You'll see. Are you ready?
I think so.
Now watch this. How do you like that?
Oh, Jethro, I adore you.
What's he doing?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. But it's working.
There.
It was wonderful.
I'll do it again.
To get a man any other way?
Oh, now, Granny, you're still a fine figure of a woman.
It ain't for me. It's for Ellie Mae. He doesn't wait any longer to get that girl a husband. Cousin Pearl says that folks back home are beginning to talk, asking about your spinster daughter.
Well, that's back in the hills. Out here, girls seem to reach their prime mighty later.
Now, Jed, let's not fool ourselves with city talk. You know and I know that prime is 14. Anything over that, and you're sliding downhill.
Morning, Granny. Want to come for a swim?
Not me, honey. I got a cooking to do.
What's cooking?
I'm steaming some grits.
What's all that for?
Gravy. Now, come on, get going. Hurry up.
What you sniffling about?
Is there any sadder sight than an old maid?
Granny, just for what it's worth, I had another talk with Mr. Drysdale about Ellie meeting a feller.
Well, I'll tell you what it's worth. Nothing.
But this time he promised.
He's been promising ever since we come to Beverly Hills. Well, I'm done waiting on Mr. Do-Nothing Drysdale. He can't even get his own secretary a husband.
Well, let's talk about Ellie Mae.
Too late for that. We've done talked away her golden years. There's only one way to get the poor old thing a husband now. And here it comes, Jed. Stand back, Jed. Perfect bat.
Chief, there's a young man in my office who says he's from the Beverly Escort Service.
Oh, yes. Ellie Mae's date. Bring him in.
Ellie Mae's Chief, you have hired a professional escort? A gigolo?
Oh, don't look so shocked. It's only a temporary arrangement to get Jed Clampett off my back.
But a gigolo?
Stop calling him that. He is a professional companion, a bonded employee of a reputable firm, which means he won't be after the Clampett's money.
But, Chief...
Bring him in. Thank you. I'm Melvin Drysdale.
Mr. Drysdale.
This is Miss Hathaway. I presume you know why you're here.
Yes, indeed, and the pleasure's all mine. She's a very attractive young lady. Well, I'm terribly sorry.
And well, you might be.
Just a moment, Miss Hathaway. I need you to witness this agreement with Mr. Peters.
Must I?
You must. As you know, this agreement calls for your exclusive services as an escort to Ellie Mae Clampett. You are to fill her days with fun and her evenings with excitement. Are you a good dancer?
Well, I'm told I am, yes.
Well, suppose we let Miss Hathaway judge.
Must I?
You must.
I'm sorry, I can't dance this way.
Must I?
You must.
You know, you're a marvelous dancer.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's enough. All right, break it up, break it up.
Chief, I would say his dancing is quite adequate.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I assume you know how to play tennis and golf and ride horseback and all that?
Yes, I do.
Perhaps I should take the rest of the day off and to check him out on these...
Now then, you'll proceed to the Clampett home, where you will put Plan A into operation.
Plan A?
Yes, a course of action so brilliantly conceived, so carefully thought out, so absolutely foolproof that the Clampetts will never suspect that you're a paid escort.
That sounds great. I'd like to hear about it.
And you will, as soon as Miss Hathaway comes up with it. Don't worry. If anything happens to your Plan A, I'll be ready with my Plan B.
What's that?
You're both fired.
This is a fine mess of all the outrageous...
Calmly. Adversity bars its sharpest sting from our impatience.
You're quoting Bishop Horn.
He's the subject of my dissertation.
You're studying for a doctorate?
Literature, UCLA.
But this odious occupation.
Well, it pays good. The hours are my own. And I meet the most fascinating people. And I am part of all I have met.
Tennyson.
Would you care to discuss Plan A over a cup of coffee?
Discourse, the sweeter banquet of the mind.
Homer?
I'll need about 5 minutes with Mr. Drysdale. You want to come up and visit with Miss Jane?
No thanks, Uncle Jed. She always looks at me so funny. Kind of like a...
Hungry hound looking in a butcher's window?
Yes, sir, that's it. Why do you reckon she does it?
Probably admires your brain.
Yeah.
Drive around and pick me up.
Yes, sir.
I just got to have a talk with that boy.
You know, a wonderful little spot next door where we can be quite alone.
Solitude cherishes great virtues and destroys little ones.
See?
Hi, doggy. Granny don't have to conjure no fella for her.
Yes?
Hello, Chief. Jane here.
Jane, where? Where are you?
In the coffee shop next door. I'm afraid we still haven't come up with Plan A.
Well, you come up with Plan A, or I'm coming down with Plan B.
Chief, we need time to invent a convincing story. Mr. Peters can't just appear at the Clampetts out of thin air.
Now, listen. I'm paying both of you gold bricks by the hour. Now, you get back up here before... I'm busy.
Sorry I bothered you.
Mr. Clampett, wait! I didn't know it was you.
Well, I sat out here for a spell, but your door was closed, and I...
Well, it's open now. Come in.
But if you're busy...
Not at all.
Me and Mr. Drysdale, you're ripping my good coat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, here, take mine.
No, I just want to talk to you for a minute about getting a fella for Ellie Mae.
Oh, yes. Well, I've been working on that. In fact, I've got something cooking.
Well, so is Granny, but I'm afraid what she's got cooking is liable to blow her head and Linda's plumb out of the kitchen.
Hello, little Bridget. I can't expect.
Howdy, young fella.
How do you do, madam? I was drawn to this house by a strange force I couldn't resist.
You don't say. Come in.
You wouldn't by any chance be Ellie Mae?
No. I'm her granny.
Nice. Very nice.
Ain't science wonderful?
Beg your pardon?
Oh, nothing. Now, before I let you meet my granddaughter, I gotta know all about you.
Well, my name is Dean Peters.
That's enough. Ellie Mae! There's a fella down here to meet you. Leave your dolls and come on down.
Did you say dolls?
Yes, she's a sweet young thing. Right in her prime.
How old is she?
Take a guess.
12, 13, 14?
That's close enough. Your doll and your lollipop, honey. You're old enough for fellas now. This is Dean Peters. He's come to keep company with you.
How do you do, Ellie?
Howdy. Curtsy, like I told you. She's sweet. You two go on in the parlor, and I'll fetch some lemonade. Skip, honey.
Granny, I feel like a darn fool.
I got you a fella, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
You got to keep him thinking you're marrying age. Now, Skip. Right in her prime. Now go get acquainted. Jen, wait till you see the fella I conjured for Ellie.
You mean it worked?
Of course. Look in the parlor.
Who's that little girl?
That's your daughter.
Uh-oh. I was afraid of blowing that smoke all over town.
What you mean?
You done conjured up Miss Jean's fella.
No.
Chief, Mr. Peters is calling from the Clampett house. He seems quite distressed.
If anything's gone wrong, you're going up there and sign a written confession.
I have nothing to confess.
I'll write it, you sign it.
Hello? Mr. Drysdale, you don't need an escort for Ellie Mae. You need a babysitter. All she wants to do is toast marshmallows and skip rope.
I don't care if she wants to play jacks. Oh, really? Who won? Now, you listen to me, young fella. I ain't paying you to entertain that girl, and that's what you're going to do if you have to play hide and seek. Oh, really? Well, hang up before she finds you.
Granny? You ain't brewing up another batch of that love conjure, are you?
Of course not. I'm working again time to come up with an anecdote. I don't want to steal Miss Jane's fella any more than you do.
Well, couldn't you use some of your letting go powder on him?
I can try, but it would be like hunting bear with a fly swatter. That's the most powerful conjure I ever...
Come on, Dane. We can have more fun out back. Face some critters out there.
Just a minute, young feller.
Yes, Mr. Clampett?
What do you think of my daughter?
Ellie? Oh, she's a wonderful girl. Lots of fun, million laughs.
Not too young, huh?
No, sir. She's right in her prime.
You like her better than Miss Jane?
Who's Miss Jane?
Powder, powder, white as snow, make the conjure spell let go.
What game is that?
That ain't no game.
How you feel about my daughter now?
Well, I told you. She's a wonderful girl. Lots of fun. We're going to play hopscotch now.
Granny, you're right. Like hunting bear with a fly swatter.
Our only hope is brewing in that pot. That is the strongest conjure buster I ever... I'm sorry, Jed. I've reached the outer limits of scientific knowledge.
Granny, I reckon there's some things us humans just ain't meant to know.
It's just as well. It could have had some terrible side effects.
Well, there's only one thing we can do now, and that is find Miss Jane another fella.
Yeah, but where?
Well, got all the wood split.
Jethro!
Howdy, sweetheart. I love you. Prettier than these flowers and sweeter than this candy. You are my sunshine, sunshine.
Jethro, what's going on?
I'm courting you. I can't eat or sleep without you.
Oh, no.
That's the truth. Granny won't feed me or make my bed. Sunshine, all this sunshine.
What's going on out here?
Jethro's courting me.
What?
I gotta make her forget about losing her fella. You are my sunshine.
What fella?
The one Granny conjured away for Ellie. Except Ellie don't care nothing for him. But he's crazy mad for her because she looks 14. And Granny couldn't bust the conjure, so Uncle Jed says I got to court Miss Jane. You are my sunshine.
Jethro, that's enough.
That's all I know anyway. I only learned how to play about a half hour ago.
Chief, I suggest that I return to the climate menage with this young swain and determine the situation firsthand. Hey!
Oh, Miss Jane, did Jethro heal your broke heart?
Well, I done my best, Granny.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to fix everything. Come upstairs and take your clothes off.
All of them?
Not you. Get to the kitchen.
Where's Mr. Peters?
He's in the parlor, dead to the world. Ellie beat him 40 straight games of hopscotch.
Hopscotch?
Go upstairs. Ellie will show you what to do.
Mr. Drysdale, I can't take any more. I got to get out of here. All right, you don't have to pay me. I'll pay you.
Mr. Peters. Oh, so you woke up, did you?
Yes, ma'am. No more hopscotch, please.
Oh, no. Nothing like that. Son, brace yourself for a shock.
Another one?
This is going to hurt, but then will come something good to make you forget. Come in, Ellie.
That's Ellie?
Yeah, we deceived you. She ain't 14.
Say she ain't.
I don't blame you for being upset. No man wants a woman that far over the hill. But now comes the good part. You wait here. Miss Jane!
I can't possibly.
Yes, you can. Oh, fair and those snooty Beverly Hills people.
Oh, Granny, hey, we ain't met them yet. We don't know that they snooty.
They's rich, ain't they?
Appear to be.
Well, then they snooty.
Well, Uncle Jed's rich, and he ain't snooty.
You pick out a pattern.
Granny, I don't hardly think that it's right for us to judge a woman without...
A woman? Is that who's moving in?
Well, I've seen one come out of the house and get into a big limousine.
Take me around back, you jerk. I can't knock on the front door of a mansion like this and ask to use the phone.
I am not employed to drive servants to servants' entrances.
Oh, come on, Reg, and knock off the protocol. My feet are killing me, and I've only got one day to fix the house for Mrs. Carrington.
You're the housekeeper. That's your problem.
Okay, you cab stand reject. You've been asking for this. Climb out and get him up.
Save your threats, Agnes. I do not scare easily.
Listen, Reg, how'd you like to take me for a drive tonight? We can park on Mulholland and,
Okay, get in. I don't scare easily, but that did it.
Big limousine just pulled around the house. Must be that new neighbor woman.
Yeah, that's her, all right. She's headed for the back door.
Good. Ellie, you go get Duke. We'll give her a big Beverly Hills welcome.
Beverly Hills welcome?
I'll slam the door in her face and Ellie'll sick the dog on her.
Howdy, ma'am.
how do you do? I'm sorry to bother you. I'm opening the house next door and the phone isn't connected yet. Could I use yours, please?
Why, you betcha. Yonder it is. Help yourself.
Thank you so much.
Jed, did I hear her say please?
Please and thank you. By the way, ma'am, we is the Clampetts. This here is Granny, and I'm Jed.
Well, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. Just call me Aggie. I've got to phone the market. There isn't a bite of food in the house.
Oh, we'd be pleased to share victuals with you.
Share what?
Victuals, food. We'd be glad to fetch something over to you. I know that it's a chore to cook on moving day.
Oh, well, that's awfully nice of you, but I love to cook, as you can see. Believe me, after cleaning a big house all day, cooking is fun.
You clean the house?
Morning till night. But a little honest work never hurt anybody. Market, I'd like you to send over an order and charge it to Mrs. Philip Brentwood Carrington III. Like 2 loaves of white bread.
Ready? I think you gotta admit that Mrs. Philip Brentwood Carrington III ain't your average run-of-the-mill, everyday rich Beverly Hills society woman.
Yeah, a grand name like that. And she says, just call me Aggie.
Morning, Jethro.
Greetings, dear boy.
Howdy.
Oh, why so glum?
I was hoping the new neighbor'd have a pretty maid, but I didn't see one.
Jethro, did I hear you say something about a new neighbor?
Yes, sir, Mr. Drysdale. She's just settling in. The moving man told me her name was Mrs. Philip Brentwood Carrington III.
Carrington. Carrington. See, that name rings a bell.
Jethro, if you are lonesome for feminine companionship, come to my place this evening.
Do you have a pretty maid?
I got it. Carrington, Mrs. Philip B., widow, financial rating AAA, between 23 and 24.
So young.
What young? That's how many millions she's got.
Well, how old a woman is she?
Who cares? With that kind of money, she's in the prime of her life.
Oh, hi, folks.
Hello, Mr. Claret.
Excuse me a minute. I want to wave goodbye to Miss Carrington.
What?
Bye, Aggie. Hurry back.
That was Mrs. Philip B. Carrington III?
Yep, but she asked us to call her Aggie. Awful nice woman. Come on in.
Chief, you're trembling.
Romance does that to me.
Romance?
Jed and Mrs. Carrington. They're perfectly mated. 50 million and 24 million. Oh, marriages like that are made in Fort Knox.
Chief, That's heaven.
It must be.
When may I have something to eat?
When the market delivers the groceries.
But I'm famished.
So go pick 'em up.
I am not employed to do marketing.
Look, Field Marshal, I can't cook 'em if I ain't got 'em, right?
You're slashing my boots. How can Mrs. Carrington abide such a slovenly domestic?
Oh, you ought to see the domestics next door. A cook and a caretaker straight out of Tobacco Road. He hasn't shaved in a week, and she wears army shoes.
You should apply for work there. You'd fit right in.
Reg, why don't we stop this bickering? Why don't we just step outside and settle this man to man?
Well, for one thing, we're a man short.
Fake it.
Margaret.
Don't get run over by a shopping cart, Tarzan.
Howdy, Aggie.
Granny, come on in.
Thank you. Did your groceries come yet?
No, the chauffeur just went to pick 'em up.
Well, I brought you a little treat. Some clam chowder.
Clam chowder?
No, Clem. He was our goat. Got mean and I made soup out of him.
Yeah. Thanks.
Go ahead and eat some if you want to.
No. I'll wait for the chauffeur. He's hungry, too.
Fine woman, Aggie. I like you.
Well, thank you, Granny. Come on and sit down.
No. You're busy with your scrubbing. Can I help you?
Oh, no. No, I'll get it done. Come on right over here and sit down. Oh, my dogs are killing me. Ah.
A woman with a big mansion like this and all them millions, I'm surprised that you ain't got 4 or 5 scrub women and maids a-helping you.
Mrs. Philip Brentwood Carrington III does not throw her money around recklessly.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Jed feels the same way.
Jed?
My son-in-law. You met him this morning.
Oh, the fellow with the,
That's him. The good-looking one.
Yeah.
He's a widower, you know.
Really?
Hard worker, just like you. Morning till night taking care of that big place. You can't hardly find a man like Jed no more.
Not in Beverly Hills.
I hear you're a widow.
Yeah. Where'd you hear that?
Mr. Drysdale. Oh, he says he knows all about you. Says you're a fine woman.
Well, who is he? What's he do?
He's a bank president. He's over to our house a lot. Comes over to talk with Jed about all of his millions. You ought to get better acquainted with Jed. He's a fine catch.
Uh-huh.
That man can do anything. Pick a squirrel out of a tree at 200 yards. Put an edge on a plow that would cut through a hickory root. Plays the harmonica. Makes his shoes.
Sounds like a real winner.
Come on over and get acquainted.
Oh, I'd like to, but I gotta... Oh, my back is killing me.
Rheumatiz.
Well, something like that.
You come on over, honey. I got some medicine that'll fix you up. Make it myself.
Is it any good?
Good. I've had rheumatiz for 40 years. Loved every minute of it.
Well, Miss Hathaway, what's the news? How is that flaming romance coming along?
What flaming romance?
Jed Clampett and Mrs. Carrington. We've got to keep that affair at white heat.
Chief, she came over to use the telephone.
Right. And we mustn't let it cool down. By George, I've got a great idea. Let's have the wedding here in the bank.
When?
Yes, they can be married in the vault. Or better, or worse. Or richer, or richer.
Get a hold of yourself.
Oh, excuse me. I'm an incurable romantic.
The fact is, we don't even know what Mrs. Carrington looks like.
Well, she's beautiful. Terrific figure.
How do you know?
I've got her picture right here.
That is a financial report.
Yeah. Isn't she lovely? Look at that cash on hand. What a figure.
Chief, I'm becoming seriously concerned about you. Your obsession with money is reaching psychotic proportions.
And look at those tax-free municipals. Chief. And of course, after they're married, we'll get some great tax benefits from...
Chief! You need professional help.
Okay. Hire anyone you need. I want the biggest wedding in town. Now, in the meantime, you go on up there and you start playing Cupid. If you can get those two married, by the time we post statements on Friday, there'll be a big bonus in it.
I don't want a bonus.
I'm not offering you one. The bonus is for me. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be up there promoting the romance of the century.
I would hardly call the mercenary matching of Mr. Clampett and Mrs. Carrington romance.
No. Well, what's your idea of romance?
Romeo and Juliet, Tristan and Isolde, Venus and Adonis, Heloise and Abelard.
Baloney. I'll bet Clampett and Carrington have got more money than all of them put together.
This is getting worse. Please, let me call a psychiatrist.
What for?
Two people can have all the money in the world and still not be happy.
I think you'd better call a psychiatrist. You're cracking up. First, drive me to the Clampetts. We've got to keep fanning those flames of love.
You don't know the meaning of the word. If people are in love, they can be deliriously, ecstatically happy without a penny to their name.
I'll drive. You lie down in the back seat.
No trace of that goat, Granny, but he'll probably turn up around supper time.
You can bet on it. Sit down. I want to talk to you.
What about?
About that fine, big, strapping, hard-working, rich widow woman that moved in next door to us.
Granny, you ain't gonna commence matchmaking again, are you?
Of course not. She can have her pick of any man in Beverly Hills.
Then let her do the picking.
She'll get snapped up quick enough. A woman like Ms. Philip Brentwood Carrington III don't have to beat the bushes with no stick to get herself a husband.
Who you pouring that for?
Oh, that's for Miss Carrington. I think she's going to drop over.
She will if she drinks that. And she'll lay there for a spell.
Hi there. Well, Aggie, Jed was just talking about you dropping over.
Howdy, man.
Don't let me interrupt anything.
Oh, no. Jed was just leaving to go upstairs and shave and change his clothes. Ain't you, Jed?
Well, I reckon I am. Excuse me, ladies.
I thought I'd give that rheumatism medicine a try.
It's right here. Sit down. Well, what do you think about Jed? Handsome devil, ain't he?
Well, he's all right if you like that rugged type.
You will. You will.
Bring the flowers and candy, will you? I've got the jewelry and perfume.
Chief, may I point out that Mr. Clampett may resent your implication that he doesn't know how to court a woman?
Well, he doesn't. Not a woman like Mrs. Philip Brentwood Carrington III. She's used to being showered with gifts and attention. Oh, we've got to get those two lovebirds to the altar before estimated tax returns are due.
I suppose the ceremony will be performed by a CPA.
Can they do that?
Howdy, folks. Come on in.
Thank you.
There, I see you're wearing your Sunday best. Are you planning to call on Mrs. Carrington?
Oh, as a matter of fact, she's sitting out in the kitchen jawing with Granny.
Oh, good.
What's all this?
Flowers and candy?
Who first?
I think I'd better let Mr. Drysdale explain that.
Well, actually, they're for you, Mr. Clampett.
Me?
Yes.
Mr. Drysdale.
You see, here in the city, things move at a faster pace than you used to back in the hills. Now, back there, if you liked someone, you'd probably invite them to take a walk on Sunday afternoon, shoot them a rabbit or something. But out here, you have to shower them with gifts and attention. Now, in addition to the flowers and candy, I've taken the liberty of picking this out for you. Beautiful, isn't it?
Right.
Oh, and some perfume.
Mr. Drysdale.
Yes.
Just shoot me a rabbit.
Clara, these aren't for you. These are for you to give to Mrs. Carrington.
What for?
Well, you like her, don't you?
Don't know her.
Well, let me tell you about her. Oh, what a lovely woman. She's got everything. Wealth, culture, breeding, education, money. Lots of money. Beauty, sophistication. A princess, Mr. Clampett. A veritable princess.
How's your back?
What back? Oh, mine. Oh, it's great. You know, you're right about this stuff. It makes having rheumatism a ball.
Just sip it, honey. Don't go it.
Okay.
Now, let's get back to Jed. Would you like to step out with him tonight?
No, thanks.
Gulp it.
Gee, that's beautiful material. That reminds me of Hawaii. I used to have a moo-moo like this.
A what?
A moo-moo.
Go back to sipping, honey. There ain't no cows this color.
I tell you, Mr. Clampett, if I weren't a married man, I'd be in that kitchen on my knees, asking that remarkable little woman to be my bride.
You talking about Aggie or Granny?
I'm talking about Aggie. Why, she was the toast of Europe. Every man in Paris was after her.
No offense, but they must have been kind of short of women.
Would you like to wait in the car?
No, I'm enjoying this tremendously.
Now, Mr. Clark, think of your daughter, Ellie. Think how wonderful it would be to have a mother like Mrs. Carrington. Who could teach her the social graces? Mold that child in her own image. Why, in a little while, Ellie would be just like her. Sweet, refined, a perfect little lady.
I better fetch Jim. You've had enough of this. Get yourself some buttermilk from the icebox.
Buttermilk from the icebox. La, la, la. Flowers, flowers.
No. Wait. Just give her these. It could be the start of a beautiful account. Courtship. Friendship.
Mr. Drysdale, I thought Granny was a matchmaker, but you take the rag off in the bush.
Where's Jed? Jed, where you going?
I'm going upstairs and lock myself in my room. It ain't safe to be single around here.
But Aggie's waiting for you in the kitchen, and she ain't gonna keep too well.
Good heavens.
Who are you?
I'm Milburn Drysdale.
Milby, baby. I'm your Aggie.
These gifts.
Oh, that's awful sweet of you, honey. But let's hula leave.
Agnes, you are to come home immediately. Mrs. Carrington just arrived.
Who? What?
Oh, moneybags to go peddle her papayas. I have just snagged me a rich banker.
I'll never know what he sees in that woman.
It's gonna be hard to break the news to Miss Drysdale.